Hey guys, and welcome to this video. Gareth here. In the previous two videos, I discussed the graphic design brief and what makes for a good one. This video is an expansion on those, so if you have not seen those videos, I suggest you check them out before watching this one. Links for them both are in the description. So as a designer, when undertaking design projects, ideally you should be issued with a design brief. Now typically, a brief for a project will either be open or closed. In this video, I'm going to discuss this further and showcase some examples. So what's the difference? So open briefs generally allow for more creative freedom, allowing for wider creative possibilities. The brief will not go into too much detail of what design solution will be required. Typically, with an open brief, a lot of time will be spent researching and developing many design ideas, concepts, and routes. Closed briefs will generally require something specific, perhaps working within already established brand guidelines, or working with already created graphics. The closed brief might not tell you exactly what your design will look like, but it will state what the solution will need to be. Much of the concept design may already be done in a closed brief. Due to the restraints and limitations of the closed brief, less time may be spent producing the work to already established design criteria. Whether open or closed, what both briefs will help with is a degree of direction. However simple or complex, this can help steer a designer in the right direction. So why is this important to know? Well, here it's really about terminology, detail, and preference. Perhaps you like projects that give you maximum creative freedom. Maybe you like or prefer undertaking projects that you can take ownership over and create something from scratch. Or perhaps you prefer working with limitations, with more direction and guidance. Knowing the difference can help you seek out the kind of work you like. For example, at an interview you can ask, will I be receiving open briefs or closed briefs? From this you can get a very direct answer, get a better understanding of the role and what kind of work you will be doing, and decide if the position is right for you. In my experience, when I'm taking on new contracts or discussing new job opportunities with agents, I will ask if the briefs are open or closed. I generally only like to take on open briefs, so can avoid closed briefs. This ultimately helps me determine the creative path I take going forward. So now I'm going to demonstrate two design brief examples, an example of an open brief and an example of a closed brief. If you wish to take a closer look at these and follow along, you can download the PDFs. Links are in the description. So first, I'm going to start with an example of an open brief. So here is a typical brief including all the criteria it should ideally include. So the title of the brief is Gold Line T-shirts New Branding, and starts with the client details at the top and then goes straight into the client overview. Project Client Overview. The project is for an existing clothing company called Gold Line, looking to set up a new online platform called One Star to sell t-shirts and accessories to a more targeted youth audience. What and why? Create the new logo and brand identity for One Star t-shirts to stand for the next 5 to 10 years. The brand is to be used across a wide range of media, including TV, online, print, out of home, web, social, and email. Audience. The brand is required to appeal to the young, trendy, fashionable demographic who are active users of social media. Here we can see where the brief goes into detail about gender, age, salary, and profession and personality. Objectives and goals. Create an exciting premium brand to attract interest and drive purchases of products and exposure to the brand. The brand will need to stand out and compete against existing t-shirt online platforms. Look and feel, tone and manner. So here we have a few key words: fresh, hip, trend-setting, contemporary, catchy, bold, bright, premium and unique. The brief also supplies some strap lines and unique selling points. Now this is a fictional brief, so at this time there are no examples of likes or dislikes. Notice here the brief asks for specifics like colours, styles or any brands. Same again for competitors. This is a fictional brief, so no examples here. This would otherwise be a list of t-shirt store competitors with any visual references or links for research. Strategic considerations. The brand will initially be pushed heavily over social media. Create an exciting, quality, trend-setting brand that users will want to share, discuss, and be seen wearing over social media that will help boost exposure of the brand. Existing branding or marketing collateral. On this occasion, the company currently has no prior branding or assets. The client will measure success on how well it is received and how well it performs over social media, engagement, and subscribers to the mailing list. On this occasion, for budget, there was no quote given. Under this, we can see a list of what will be charged for. Stage 1, design and conceptualize. Stage 2, design execution. And Stage 3, finalize deliverables. For timeline, we have times for each stage. Now, over on the left, we have the deliverables. Stage 1 is initially to provide a selection of creative approaches for the new brand. For Stage 1, the client requires research, mood boards, and route options marked in the design section of the deliverables. Stage 2 is to execute chosen design ideas from Stage 1, and Stage 3 is to provide the final deliverables. Here we can see all what is required for print, digital, and for project assets. So a standard brief there with lots of information. So what makes this an open brief? Well, the key parts to note here is that this is a branding project and they have no prior branding or marketing collateral. They have provided lots of keywords for look and feel, tone and manner, which are quite broad, and for Stage 1 they require research, mood boards and route options, which they have allocated 3 weeks to develop. This is an open brief because here the client would like to see lots of ideas, concepts and routes in Stage 1 before settling on one to develop in Stage 2 and 3, where a broad range of print and digital media will also need to be designed from scratch. The brief does not go into too much detail of what design solution will be required. Any designer working on this brief will have a lot of creative freedom to explore lots of ideas. So next is the closed brief. Here is another document, same layout, but for a different project. The title of this brief is Strata Exhibition and Conference. Client Overview. Strata Pharmaceuticals is a worldwide healthcare company that manufactures a broad range of pharmaceutical products, medical devices, diagnostics, and nutritional products. What and why? Strata are exhibiting at a conference on the 19th of April 2017 and wish to get some promotional material and print media developed for the exhibition to engage and interact with attendees for the event. Take the previous year's templates and update with new details, new graphics and imagery. Audience. The media is required to appeal to the mature professional audience passionate about healthcare. Again, we can see where the brief goes into detail about age, gender, salary and profession and personality. We can also see here what the audience cares about. Objectives and goals. Catch attention and clearly inform professionals and reps of up-and-coming products. Look and feel, tone and manner. Clean, clear, bold, attractive, informative, simple and minimal. The brief also supplies some strapline and unique selling points. Again, this is a fictional brief, so at this time there are no examples of likes or dislikes. Same again for competitors, no examples here. Strategic considerations. To drive future sales and referrals of drug, medical and nutritional products. Existing branding or marketing collateral. Okay, so on this occasion they have brand guidelines in place and templates from the year before that they wish to simply update and perhaps modify. The client will measure success on how well the media is received on the day, how well it performs at the event, and how many requests for products are made after the event. For timeline, we have 2 weeks, and for deliverables, there are no design requirements, but lots of print requirements. So what makes this a closed brief? Well, the key part to note on this one is that the client already has established guidelines in place, which they wish to abide by, and also templates that they wish to use from the year before. Compared to the previous brief example, there are no bespoke design requirements here. The client simply wishes to get specific documents to an already established look and feel. Now, there is room for creativity in the fact it requires new imagery and graphics that would need to be generated and designed, but to limited specs. Here, the brief does not state exactly what the design should look like, but does state what the solution should be. The client is specific about what they want delivered and has provided a short timeline in order to do it. In this case, 2 weeks. Any designer working on this brief will have limited creative freedom. They may create various routes, but the design will very much reflect current guidelines. So those are two types of graphic design briefs you may encounter. There is a wide spectrum of creative freedom you will have on any given project, so briefs will vary. In my experience, it does help to know the difference, so you can undertake and seek out the type of design work you prefer to do. So, in a previous episode, I spoke about how it's not always the case that a design brief will be presented to you. Depending on who you're working for or with, you may be given a well-detailed brief, you may be given some verbal instructions, or you may be given no brief at all. Some clients may feel that a meeting will be more beneficial, where ideas and projects can be discussed verbally in a more informal or collaborative way. Whatever the case may be, you will want to establish a solid design brief before starting a design project. In the next video, I'm going to showcase some free resources you can use to create a brief for yourself in the event you are not given one. So see you in the next video.